How you doing, everybody? My name is Michael Zapsik. I'm from AMC's Comic Book Man, and you're listening to iWalter.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who, disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Okay, hey, this is Walter from iWalter. Yeah, I'm back again, and it is Tuesday? Monday. I can't remember. I believe it's Tuesday. Every day kind of runs together anymore. Let me check. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday the 23rd at going on 4 o'clock. So I'm going to move my mic across, but I decided to do a show today just because I watched this really cool movie. I'm moving it back now on Amazon Prime. Wow, the mailman's outside. That shows you how early I am doing a show because the mailman's just arriving. So anyway, let me just check, see if he's dropping anything off at our door. He probably is. I'm always ordering stuff. Anyway, it was like I watched this thing that looked really cool on Amazon. It was like, yeah, I got to talk about this now. Now, it's not for everybody. The movie got like really bad reviews. It's on Amazon Prime for free, and it's called 23 Minutes to Sunshine. Sunrise. The movie I personally thought was actually pretty damn good. So it actually had Eric Roberts in there and this woman or a girl named Nia Peoples or something, Pebbles, something like that. Anyway, I didn't know what to expect. It's a little bit of a slow movie. It's kind of one of those independent kind of films. I would almost put it on the line of, yeah, I'm trying to think actually right now. There's a couple different movies that I've seen that are very similar on the feel, like a real independent film, but you got real actors in there too at the same time, because a lot of them I recognize, I just didn't know from where. So, very small percentage of people actually like this film. I'm probably one of them who actually really enjoyed it, because there is that movie called Diner, I guess, or even not as racy, but as Quentin Tarantino's first film, Reservoir Dogs. It almost feels like that type of independent film. So the thing that I liked about it is the characters were all like these kind of real life type of characters you can actually relate to, real people, except two of them, which you didn't know because they kind of didn't tell you until the very last moment of the movie where it was going. And even then, they didn't kind of insinuate where these characters came from. So I thought it was really good. And the twist at the very end, they kind of subtly let you into what was going on, but they didn't really tell you. Again, even at the end of the movie, you're still wondering. But the premise was there was two characters. One basically can give you immortality, and the other one who was given immortality didn't want it anymore, so they had to give it to someone else in this diner. And that was the gist. So you don't know. The one character was either like the devil or somebody else. The other one, again, was, you can, I'm going to give you immortality, but it's a curse that you're going to be stuck with until you can pass it off to somebody else. So that part was like not given. But the characters in the movie were different characters. Like the main guy who was running the diner, this black guy, he was a really good actor. They were all really good actors. But I'm not going to say too much just in case. I was going to figure, well, everybody must have watched this if they really wanted to see it. I just caught wind of it because it was free. And I would definitely recommend it. Don't expect a lot because most people honestly did not like it at all. Again, I thought it was really interesting. It's a little bit slow because it is an independent film the way it was shot. but it looked like it was shot on film, or at least something that ended up looking like film. And it just really made you think, because there was like this one older couple where the woman basically was cheating on her husband and she wanted to be 18 again. Then you had this other couple where the guy was just a real dirtbag, a real lowlife, and he was miserable with his life, and his girlfriend just was obsessed with him. Like, oh, I won't do anything to leave you, even though he beat the shit out of some guy that was autistic, and the one character beat up this autistic guy who dressed up like Superman, and he held up and killed somebody at a convenience store. I mean, it was just very realistic with these characters. All these actors, I thought, personally did a really good job. So again, it's called 23 Minutes of Sunshine. I'm going to keep this short because I know I'm going to get distracted at some point, even at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But it was that basically I was like, okay, I gotta talk about this because I liked it. Again, there was a couple other films on that line, probably. I'm trying to think, because I went through that for a while where I was downloading these movies that were not heard of. They were all independent films. My one friend, Matt, he kind of like, we would have Saturday nights, me and him and another friend would, like, Matt would rent these movies that we've never heard of, and we would watch them, and these are all these really independent films that just kind of make you think. They're like off-key, off-the-wall type of films. Well, this one is definitely one of them. I would recommend it, but don't expect a lot. Expect very little from this film, because the whole gist of the movie is it's up till the very end, and little shreds throughout the film, or fibers throughout this film, are not in reality. They are like far from reality. So just take that in mind, because it's a fictional film, obviously. But I really would recommend it. I have to correct something I said yesterday too on the show, that I did buy this thing called the Blind Dead Collection, and I got it wrong because I keep on saying Return of the Living Dead, which is a different film. It's a comedy horror, but the film I meant to say was called Return of the Evil Dead. There's a collection of they're called the Blind Dead Collection. They're from a South American director, and I really like these films. So the first one was called Tombs of the Blind Dead, which I have not seen yet. Return of the Living Dead, which I watched yesterday, which was really good for what it was worth. It's a 1973 film. The Ghost of Gallon is the third movie. Night of the Seagulls is the fourth movie. There's 4 altogether by this one director from South America. Those I would recommend. I just got it wrong. And I also mentioned that, hey, these movies actually, I got them on, I know I call it myself, on Amazon, and I got no tax. No, you do get paid taxes, because I got to correct myself, because the problem is, if you don't pay taxes for things you buy online, at the end of the year, you end up having to claim it on or for the next year, you have to claim it on your income tax. So, hey, listen, I did not pay taxes on my internet purchases. That gets incorporated into your 401k for the following year. So that has changed. I pay taxes on everything I buy online, because that's just the way it has ended up being. So just to give you a heads up, you got to correct yourself on that, because if somebody listens and say, wait, you haven't been paying taxes on your stuff, and the government hears that's the last thing you want to have happen, then you're screwed, because you're going to end up having to pay all these taxes the following year, and it's not cool. So that's why I had to correct myself. I actually got to look. I wasn't going to do this, but now I will. But I found out that on the 29th, which isn't that far off, it's only a couple days away, you can actually purchase your tickets for Batman vs. Superman. That's how close it is. So I don't know when it's going to be released. That's what I'm doing right now. I didn't think I was going to do it. I was going to look it up, and I was like, I'll just kind of... The tickets, again, they go on sale, I think, the 28th. It's the 25th. It's like 5 more days. 28th or 29th. So Fandango actually already has the tickets. They're probably going to have it out, because right now, Deadpool is just like murder, and no puns intended, the market. Today is February 23rd. So, and Star Wars is still out. But yeah, I don't know when exactly. So let me put this in. I think Superman, and he's not like ever been my favorite character, is going to actually wipe up the market on with Ben Affleck. I think as much as people bitched and complained about Ben Affleck, I think he's actually going to steal the movie. That's just my opinion. It says buy tickets. You can buy them for IMAX Real 3D, which I think would kind of be personally a waste. I do like the bigger screen though, but so far it looks like you can only buy tickets for the IMAX here. Refunds and exchanges report. Yeah, I was going to see. I know it's coming out, I think, next month, but there might be an early release or a private screening of the movie. So I'm trying to look for that right now. 2 hours and 31 minutes. That's pretty long. And March 25th. My guess again is they might do an early release of the film. That's my hunch. And if there is, I wouldn't mind trying to check it out. Now, there was that movie release called The Witch that was getting a lot of talk about, but honestly, that came out of nowhere, and I just kind of let it go. I've been watching some movies I can get at home for free, so I don't have much to report about. Yesterday, I said, I'm not going to do a 2-hour show again, and I looked. It was like, it was almost 2 hours again. I was, wow, I can't believe I did that. So anyway, it says advance ticket sales once again, February 29th for the new Batman versus Superman movie. So that's really cool. I put that up. I don't have much. It should only be too long of a show, probably even like 15 minutes. I have a story. This was a story that's been up before, but for some reason it got resurfaced just today. Why, I don't know, or yesterday. It says police, 2 teachers arrested for sleeping with student. 2 different teachers were sleeping with the same student, a 16-year-old, and they're both like in their 30s. That story I read a million times. For some reason, again, it got resurfaced. A male high school student bragging to other pupils on having a sexual relationship with 2 high school teachers that had led to a criminal investigation of the 2 female teachers. And they're going to get a slap on the wrist. That's the thing that really bothers me. Now, the English teachers are facing charges and allegedly have for having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old male student. Yesterday, the 32-year-old Shelby Dumpson or something was arrested for having inappropriate sexual contact with the boy who was a junior in this high school in Louisiana. So I don't even know what the... and the other one was 24 years old. So I just don't understand this because they make a big deal out of it for a slight millisecond, but they've destroyed, when this happens, not saying that either side is correct that you should do it, but when a male teacher has sex with a female underage girl, they lose their home, they lose their whole life, they have nothing left. Like, they totally annihilate the guy. But if it's a woman, they give him a slap on the wrist. I mean, there was that one girl I read yesterday. She killed her boyfriend for being on Facebook too long, and she's got life imprisonment, but she gets parole after 12 years. Basically, she'll be out on the street again, even though she's got a life sentence. The life sentence only lasts 12 years. It's like, well, the girl's young. She'll be in her 30s by the time she gets out of jail, and her life sentence is only 12 years. If it's a male, a life sentence means no probation, no nothing. You're in jail for the rest of your life. And it's even worse, if not, it's almost as worse as if you have sex with an underage girl. If it's a woman having sex with an underage kid, they get a slap on the wrist and a pat on the back. It's like, well, keep up the good work. That's what just kind of annoys me. So anyway, I got this. This was another old article. There's a lot of resurfacing old articles. This was from wowamazing.com. I read this story before. It's just totally gross, in my opinion. It's about women, and a woman and her daughter. Mom and daughter splurged $80,000 on surgery to look like their idol, Katie Price. This was a article originally I read from. It was on the Daily Mail UK. Now, the thing is, you look at these pictures of the mom and the daughter. The daughter's got these, like a young girl who's probably, I think, only 17. She's got like double or like H-size breast implants, the large increased, exploded lips. And the mom has breast implants, not as big as her 17-year-old daughter, but they're just really disgusting looking. And these women, the mom and the daughter looked kind of normal at first. Now they just look like monsters. And it's sad because I remember reading this before. The daughter ended up like working in a strip joint now. So, and she's only 17. So it says mother and daughter, Georgina Clark, 38, and her daughter, Kayla, 20. But at the time, I remember reading this, and it wasn't that long ago. She was 17 when she got all this surgery done. Are so obsessed with celebrity idol Katie Price, who I have no clue who that is, that they spend over $80,000 on surgery to look like her, courtesy of Kayla's sugar daddy and stripping off her clothes. So again, the girl got the daughter got this done when she was 17, if I remember correctly. 10 years ago, no, look, it says 10 years ago, mother with Warshire was a busy woman. As a full-time mom to 4 children, she hardly had time to worry about her appearance. But this started like 10 years ago. So the girl was 10 years old when this whole shenanigans got started. Well, we need to get a lot of plastic surgery to look like our celebrity idol. So the daughter's 20, 10 years ago. That means she was only 10 years old. Now, it's too young to get surgery done. I think you have to be at least 16 or 17. And the mother was the consensual adult saying, oh, yeah, it's okay. It says, I was pleased that Kayla wanted surgery and a boob job. A young kid at 10 wanted the boob job. So that's when it all got started. She couldn't get it done. Here we go. Since then, the two had beauty treatments together and fantasized about having plastic surgery together. Georgina started having Kayla, the younger one, the mom's daughter, for her nails and fake eyelashes. And during Kayla's 14th birthday, Georgina surprised her with hair extensions. Kayla was so ecstatic and started looking for beauty treatments for them, like veneers, lip injections, and nose jobs. And these brought them closer together. So the mom and daughter, she's got 4 kids, this lady, but the mom and daughter became closer together by getting plastic surgery. Now, this is kind of weird. I don't know how smart the girl was. I'm sure she got ahead from all the plastic surgery she had. But it says the daughter, at 17, Kayla dropped out of college and worked as a tripper at a local club. It says tripper. I think it's supposed to be stripper. It's a typo on their part. Soon, I was making up to 1,300 pounds a week. That's British pounds. From stripping. Yeah, they made a typo. She reveals, and when Kayla met a sugar daddy, she knew her dreams would breach as the rich 50-plus-year-old man was willing to show out the generous money for her. So the girl at 17 met her sugar daddy because she had started a lot of plastic surgery. A 17-year-old dating a 50-year-old man who basically paid for her and her mom to get this other surgery done, which, when it was all said and done, was over $80,000 in American money. So that was like 42,000 pounds in British money, I guess, something like that. I just think the whole thing is ridiculous. She looks like a clown. So, I'm sorry, with big, huge, disgustingly looking fake breast implants. I read that a while back. It resurfaced again, so I'm reading it again. There was a thing I got on, making it short, bloodydisgusting.com. They're just calm. They're just talking about the horror movies being placed on Netflix and Hulu. There's going to be a lot more. They every month they update their list of movies, and you can see that on bloodydisgusting.com, what are their new movies going to be posted on the Netflix and in Hulu. Honestly, you don't really need both, personally. And that one I mentioned yesterday, that Popcorn Flicks or whatever, you can get movies. The commercials aren't that irritating. And I've watched some really good old school movies and horror movies that were really good. And it's not that irritating to sit through the commercials. You can actually get up. It gives you a chance to get up, use the bathroom, get some food, whatever, kind of stretch your legs. So that part I actually really like. And the popcorn, I think it's called Popcorn Flicks. I can't remember now. I would definitely recommend that. And it's free. It's absolutely free. The commercials pay for everything anyway. And the movies, there's actually some newer movies. There's that one about, of all things, about the girl who has, I can't remember, I think it's called The Lifeguard. That movie about the chick who has an affair with like an underage kid. That movie's actually on there. Now, that movie's, it's not the newest film, but it's not that old either. So there's a couple like newer films, and they're free, so you can't beat that, and they actually look really good. That's where I end up watching the movie, one of those Blind Dead movies. And honestly, I didn't have a problem. I watched some movie with John Pertwee on there, some old classic horror movie. I couldn't find it anywhere. It was on the Popcorn Flicks, and it was worth it. So, hey, for the people like myself, I'm a Doctor Who fan. I really don't like the new series at all, for the most part. I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't like it that much. Which reminds me, I have to watch the new episode of Supergirl. But Jay actually did post now when there's going to be that crossover with The Flash, which I can't wait for. So anyway, that's much better. And I've been a Doctor Who fan for like almost 35 years. And Supergirl, it surpasses on my enjoying television with that more so than Doctor Who, which says a lot. Now, if I want to watch any that I can watch more than once that I actually really enjoy, and I hate to say this on the new series, would have to be Christopher Eccleston, hands down. There's no double checking that, because the guy who originally brought Doctor Who back from the dead, no puns intended, that director was really good. And he was gay, too, which has nothing to do with anything. But the man didn't try to tread on people's feet. He tried to make the show updated and keep it the way it, as a continuation series. But these other directors, this other director, he's just trying to change everything. And I don't like it at all. I like the original director they got when he brought it back from being off the air for so many years. I like that director a lot. I wish he would have never left, personally. Anyway, they're saying that Doctor Who streaming on Amazon Prime begins in March. So next month, you'll be able to watch all the new series, all the seasons of the new seasons. All the new series of Doctor Who on Amazon, starting on, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you'll be able to watch all those. So it's not like it's out of, on the U.S., it's been off the airwaves, on the streaming for a while, I think since the beginning of the year. So Amazon's actually picking it up. So I posted that, probably some other things. Now, here was something I read just today. I posted, it was from BuzzPO.com. And it says, your jaw will drop when you read this new migrant report. And it says, Washington Examiner reports that due to the Obama administration policies, instead of being deported, these illegal immigrants that end up coming over our borderlines, it says an estimated 90,000 illegal immigrants who were considered criminal threats were released from custody last year. So instead of deporting them or arresting these illegal immigrants, they're just letting them free. They're letting them do whatever they want to do. It says as of March of 2015, more than 347,000 convicted criminal immigrants, I said migrants, I meant immigrants in the beginning of this story, remained at large in the U.S., and reports show that in September 2015, over 918 illegal immigrants with orders to be deported remained in the U.S. So basically, they're not doing jack shit. And then they want to get them to vote, too, on top of it. I only have three other stories. So this is good. I told you it's only going to be a 15-minute show today, maybe a half an hour. Washington Weekly News. Shoplifting teen is turned in by his own mom. She recognized him on TV, so this was pretty funny. It's a video. Nothing really to talk about, so that's perfect for me. So I thought you'd find it interesting. Oh, I was going to look this up, too. I had a story of a video, and it was from Joe for America, Joe the Plumber, and it says, it looks like voted tempted fate, or voted tempted fate, something like that. And some guys from another country shot this video, and it looks like a sperm whale, which they're not. Sperm whale are harmless. Let me make sure it is. I'm going to look right now. But it seemed like it was going after some guy. Maybe it was like it's like one of those whale sharks, maybe, because I thought it was a sperm whale. No, I think it's a shark. It's whale shark. Because I know I've seen it. Yeah, it's a whale shark. Now, whale sharks are harmless. Most of the time, they're generally considered harmless. It was the video I knew I saw before. It was a whale shark. They pretty much eat plankton, I think. It says the whale shark is a slow-moving, filter-feeding shark and the largest known fish species. So there's this video, by the way, because they're basically harmless, but maybe when you see the word shark, even the whale shark thinks that it's a regular shark. So they shot this video, and it says, would you ever do something like this? And this guy is like, he fell in the water or was swimming in the water on a rope or something like that. It was another country. They weren't speaking English. And this whale shark started going after this guy like it was ready to eat him. And it even said sometimes even sharks, even though they're not man-eaters, they only eat plankton. They're like, whale sharks are harmless sharks. This one was going after this boat and after this guy like it wanted to eat him. And they're not meat eaters, they're plankton eaters. So that's what was kind of weird. That's why the video was pretty cool. Would you ever do something like this? I understand that this fish is not, and it was a whale shark, is not a meat eater. It is not. But is big enough to accidentally swallow you whole because it is so huge. I think the general rule of thumb for me is if the creature's mouth is double the size I'm not going to go anywhere near it. So these guys on this boat, they might have been a fishing boat, were fucking with this whale shark, and the thing was trying to eat the guy. Now, whale sharks, I don't know what, promoted or whatever, got this shark to a whale shark, which, again, they're plankton eaters, to go after this guy, but it did. And it looked like it was out to, like, eat the guy. It was like a whale shark of all things. So, you're talking like a fuzzy bunny in the ocean. That's how harmful a whale shark normally would be. They don't attack men. So I don't know what was going on with this one. It's probably not taking its Prozac or lithium. So anyway, it might have been on its period too. I don't know. I'm being sarcastic. There was one last article, and then I'll kind of glance through because I told you it's going to be a really short show today. That's good for me and everybody else. But opposing views, there was this story. Now, this one was really interesting. It says 4 high school kids carjack and kidnap the worst possible person. It was a federal agent. These 4 kids, and I think, it was in Florida. It says 4 Florida high school students were arrested for allegedly carjacking and kidnapping a federal agent who was vacating with the family in Orlando. The suspects, ranging from 15 to 19 years old, were taken into custody last week, police say. So I'm not going to even try to pronounce these names. You can look up the picture of these guys. I'm not going to even go into a large, in-depth detail about it. But these 4 punks, these 4 high school kids from Florida, kidnapped and stole a federal agent. I mean, come on. That is the lowest of the low. I just think it's extremely entertaining, to say the least. And that was the last of my stories. The main reason I wanted to get back on the air was because I did kind of screw up a couple things. So I'm just going to do a quick look. I did put up a lot of, once again, the spandex pictures and the Lady Gaga, too, as well. So I'm just looking through, and I'm just doing a glance. There's one that says, Dad follows 6-year-old into McDonald's bathroom and sees every parent's worst nightmare. A dad and his 6-year-old son go to use the McDonald's bathroom. After a few minutes, he decides to check him out. His son, when he opens the door, he saw the parent's worst nightmare. Some guy was trying to rape his kid. I read that one a while back, too. It's nothing new. Breaking news, judge just delivered Hillary Clinton's horrible news. And that was from Rush Limbaugh. I got to post that. Actually, Trump is now saying if he does win the presidential election, the GOP, he is going to go pursue on prosecuting Hillary Clinton on her criminal charges, which I can't wait to see if that happens. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton continues to implode. Yes, she is leading the contender for the White House, which is beyond my ability to process. This is from Rush Limbaugh, as the district court judge gave her some bad news. I don't even know what it is. Now, that's another thing. Rush Limbaugh said yesterday, he says no matter how good Bernie Sanders is doing, he says that I don't know how it's going to happen, but he says Hillary Clinton's going to be the one running for the Democratic Party. That's really scary. I mean, that woman's got criminal records out of her bazoo or whatever, and she's still be able to run for president, and she is going to get the GOP for the Democrat. That's what his prediction is. I'm just trying to glance at this story, by the way. I just put it up anyway. It was from the young conservatives, but that Rush basically is quoting from that. Announces that District Court Judge Emmerich G. Sullivan today granted whether State Department. I don't even know. If you want to look at it, do you want to go right to the source? It's youngconservatives.com or youngcons.com. So I like the way they tell these stories. They don't give you the answer to it. I'm sure it's about, I'm not going to go into it because I'll just end up really screwing up, but if you want to look at it, my guess is I'm sure it's about these criminal violations against her with the emails and some other stuff. Maybe it's coming back to actually really bite her in the ass. I really don't know. Joe the Plumber put something up too. Again, I'm just gonna go gloss through these stories that I've just seen. They're just actually been posted now. It says Black Lives Matter. Thug gives a white girl a brutal birthday gift. Media silence because she is white. And it writes underneath. This is what it's posted. I'm not saying this. I'm just reading what it says in front of me. It says right afterwards, ridiculous, in an exclamation point. So, yeah. That story, people use the internet to connect with friends and a resource to meet new people. However, one Florida woman is paying for the mistake of meeting a new roommate on Craigslist. Well, I never liked Craigslist. I'm sorry. The relationship took a brutal turn when he gave her a birthday gift that she'll never forget. Danielle Jones, 23, had a place ad on Craigslist for a new roommate and was excited when Byron Mitchell, 35, seemed to be the perfect fit. After only a week of living together in her downtown Miami apartment, things had taken a drastic turn during Valentine's Day, the night of her 23rd birthday. Unfortunately, Danielle was assaulted by Byron during that night, and he had strapped her and cut up the young woman, nearly killing her. Sadly, Danielle is now in a coma. She has suffered multiple injuries in her face and neck, has received a multiple injuries to her face and neck, and she's received a brain injury that may prevent the young woman from ever waking up again. And they show how brutally he beat her to death. He pulverized her. Her face, the before and after picture don't even look like the same person. That is on woundedamericawarrior.com. So that you can read. That story was another one I saw the other day. And I am reposting it for friends. to see. So you can see that again. Oh, I just reposted the same story for myself again. So I hate when I do that. So let me just delete that. I could probably just do this after ending the show, but me with my OCD, it's not going to happen. So I'm doing it now. But yeah, there's always. Now, the one friend things I just kind of like, yeah, I do. I'm trying to think of the right word. I have links that I post up that are strictly just for news sources that I use from Facebook. Now, the one friend things I just basically, like, I come up with these, I only come up with, like, and the only ones I'll read deliberately are these stories that are all very negative. And it's like, well, the reason I read all these negative stories is because that is all I ever see. You know, it's not like, okay, well, let me just look for the most gruesome stories. But trust me, I'm looking at them right now, and these are the stories that would come up. Because, like, here we go right now. I'm looking at, going down the list, it's the third one down. The ones beforehand are just pictures of things. They're not even stories. Times Herald. Do you recognize this man? He's suspected of entering a vehicle and stealing a wallet. And I won't even say, but that's exactly, and they do show a mugshot of the guy, and it just fits every story I read, which apparently it's just, I'm doing it on spite. Norristown Police Department is asking for the public's help to identify the subject who was a suspect on entering a vehicle and stealing a wallet, according to the post on Norristown Police Department Facebook. The incident occurred on Friday on 1100 block of Stainbridge. According to the post, surveillance images showed a suspect. So, you know, it's almost like I go out of my way just to incriminate certain people. And honestly, I do not. I can't specify that enough. It will come out that way, but there you go again. It's that whole situation where, you know, if it's a certain party, a certain person, a certain background, ethnicity, religion, and it's what's in the news all the time. Oh, you're being discriminatory. You're looking for these stories. You're going out of your way to just incriminate these people more, these persons. But then if it's the other way, that it's I don't know how else to put it, a Caucasian male or a Caucasian woman getting beat the shit out by a Muslim or somebody else. Well, we don't need to hear that. You know, that's no big deal. So what? That's the answer. That's the response. Now, here's another one. I'm just going through. I'm not digging for these stories. Trust me, because I've only been on for less than 2 minutes now talking about this. Opposing views. This young lady was pulling out of the Walmart parking lot when a disabled wheelchair-bound vet accidentally crossed her path. Now, I don't know what this is about. I just saw this for the very first time. 21-year-old treatment of disabled veterans who accidentally crossed her path goes viral. So it could be a good story. It could be a bad. But I'm just trying to prove a point. Maybe it's a good story. I have no clue yet. I think it is a good one. A 21-year-old woman decided to help a wheelchair-bound veteran outside the Walmart in West Virginia. So see, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. So they can go on both sides. This girl actually helps people that are disabled. So I don't look for negative stories. They just find me 99% of the time. I'm telling you this. So when you see, oh, well, I'm not saying people because I don't even know who my listeners are, quite honestly. But I just really have to prove a point that I'm not trying to, I'm trying to point out, oh, you know, look, this one, it's like, no, this is the situation I'm finding all the time. Now, here's one. It's just it's a video, and some guy's humping his owner, or some girl. He's like literally humping the shit out of her ass. So that one I got sent to a friend. So anyway, I'm technically, as you probably haven't noticed, I'm already done my shows for today. And I just wanted to go back to correct a couple things. And I would recommend that movie. I'm going to look it up again. That I thought it was really good. Oh, I liked some of these pictures, these videos. They're really funny. Wow. Yeah, there's some really, really funny stuff on here. So, I'm going to give you the name of that because I already forgot the name of that diner movie, so I'm going to look it up again. Let's see, Amazon Prime. But yeah, I that and the other thing I was mentioning about the Blind Dead movie trilogy, or 4 movies. It's not even a trilogy. That's really good. I did want to mention again, but I really don't want to go into a long thing. I'm looking up Prime movies again. About the PlayStation 4. I probably should call today. I honestly have not yet. So let's see if I can go back. I can't actually find it right now. So, because after that, I'll just call it quits for today. Really simple. Nothing spectacular on my show today. See if I can find it. I know it was something with diner in there. I put 23-minute diner. I think that's what it was called. That's another thing I found out, and Rush was going off about that yesterday, about the iPhone. I gotta agree with him. You really, 23-minute to sunrise diner. 23 minutes to sunrise, 2012. Definitely check it out. Don't expect a lot of it. He was talking about the iPhones again. I have to agree with him. People are, really busting Apple. I heard that Apple stocks, my dad told me, the Apple stocks, had taken a plummet. And it's been all over this government not be able to get into this one phone of a terrorist who was dead. So I'm going to look up. I'm looking up the price of stocks for Apple. I spelled it wrong, too. Yeah. Apple stock used to be fairly high, and it says U.S. dollars. It's down to 94.69. I don't know what it was at earlier. But it's been, it says Apple stock destroys, I think it was at almost $300 a share. Now it's down to less than $100. And it's all over this whole thing with this phone. And I don't blame them because you're protecting my privacy as well. And some guy actually called in the Apple Rush yesterday. And they said, well, what's the big deal? What do you have to hide on your phone? I was like, well, it's not the point. It's the principle. And Rush actually did clarify that phone, that supposed terrorist, I'm not saying supposed, but the guy who had the phone who was a terrorist had gotten the phone. It was a company phone. And Rush Limbaugh made the point, though, by the way, that if it's a company phone, there is software out there that the company should have known. If you have somebody under suspicion, especially, that there is software. It was a company phone. It wasn't even that guy owned that particular phone. So the bottom line was that Rush was saying they could have put software on that guy's phone before they even handed it to him. Because where I work, there's people who get computers given to them from the company. They don't pay for it. They can do whatever the fuck they want on there. But Rush was saying if they really want to, they can step in there, a company, and before they even give you that computer, they can put this software on there that if you do anything that is not approved by that company, the company can step in, and it's basically what Rush called it, which I've heard of before, a backdoor to that cell phone and on their laptops. Because where we work, everybody gets cell phones, certain people, not everybody, but a lot of the people where I work, they get company given cell phones and laptops. Now, those particular people, before those phones are handed to them, if the IT people are actually doing their fucking job, they should put that program on there. Or, it's regulated, because I know the ones where I work, there's certain things you cannot do on those laptops. They basically block you from doing it. And if you put things on there, if it's like pornography or inappropriate stuff, that should be red flagged right back to the fucking company. It's not that difficult. 'Cause I know where I work, the IT people do that stuff. They do, and they can check. And some guy actually called in the Rush Limbaugh yesterday, and he said, listen, I worked as an IT person on business phones, and he says, when we give him back, if it's for refurbishing the phone or destroying the phone, he says, I've done this so many times, I pulled off stuff people thought they deleted. He says, when you think you delete something, this one guy was an IT guy. He called in to Rush Limbaugh yesterday. He said, there's stuff you think you erased that you definitely erased. You do not. So there is ways around that stuff, but most of the time they don't make that available for people who are average Joe idiot or Joe schmo. But I know Apple used to do this, but they stopped it even on their computers, your home computers. You were able to do, I'm not sure about on the cell phones, I know on the laptops, what's called a low-level format. Now, there is different levels that Apple used to have, like your standard low-level format. I'm going to have to see if it's still there. I don't think it is. They hid it on their newer OS. But the highest level of the low-level format takes you almost a couple days to do, because it writes zeros and ones and just garble to the hard drive over and over again until whatever information on there you don't want retrieved is so far down, that it's been written over top of it so many times that there is no way in hell they're going to be able to do it. I'm looking at it now, Macintosh hard drive security options, fastest, most secure. So they still do have it. I thought they got rid of it. Now, they renamed it. They made it more simple. But anyway, the most secure is the one that is like military grades. What do you call it? Military grade, that it rewrites garble to the drive that it would be physically beyond impossible for anybody, even the military, to pull any important information. So that is no longer, I think Apple kind of had taken that off. I thought they had taken it off. Apparently they did not. But, the thing was, this guy, the phone he had, there is information on there. They just can't retrieve it. They should have, like I said, it was a company phone forever. This business, this guy who was a terrorist worked for, which before they handed that phone, they had the ability to put software on there that had a back door. And even after this guy died, probably like a suicide bomber or something, I don't know, they could have easily made that, hey, the guy killed himself, but we can still get the information we need off this phone. So that was the one thing. And that being said, I just wanted to, keep this really short, and I am. So everyone, have a good afternoon. And it is only 4:41, so my show is definitely under an hour. So thanks again for listening. I wanted to fix those things. Check out what I mentioned in the beginning of the show, and I hope you enjoy what I've had discussed today. And enjoy whatever, because it's been raining around here all day. So thanks a lot. Have a good evening. This is iWalter signing off.